Super Mario Bros. 1993. The very first live-action video game movie, Super Mario Bros., holds a special place in cinema history.
Super Mario Brothers. This ain't no game.
As a warning, instead of embracing the fun, colorful world of the games, the film went for a dystopian cyberpunk setting, featuring evolved dinosaurs, fungus-based tech, and a New York City-inspired parallel universe called Dino Haddon. Bob Hoskins, who played Mario, later described the production as a nightmare, saying the directors didn't even speak to each other. The movie cost around $48 million, but only made $38 million globally. Street Fighter 1994. Capcom's Street Fighter hit theaters with big hopes. Jean-Claude Van Damme starred as Colonel Gill, while Raul Julia gave a memorable yet campy performance as M. Bison.
Come here prepared to fight a madman?
But the film had no idea what tone it wanted. It wasn't serious enough for action fans and not funny enough for satire. Despite the charisma of its cast, the film suffered from poor pacing, weak action scenes, and a script trying to juggle too many characters. It made about $99 million on a $35 million budget. House of the Dead 2003. House of the Dead marked the start of Uwe Ball's notorious run of game-to-film disasters. Based on the popular rail shooter zombie game, the movie was a chaotic blend of shaky camera work, nonsensical editing, and actual in-game footage bizarrely inserted into the film. With a plot that made no sense and acting that felt more like a high school play, the film was panned across the board. It made just $13.8 million against a $12 million budget, barely breaking even, and currently holds a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics describe it as incoherent, embarrassing, and an insult to fans of the original game. By the way guys, thank you so much for the overwhelming support on the recently uploaded videos. I'm actually flattered that most of you think my voice is AI. I'm not. Okay, I do think AI can do this, like the stuttering and I don't know, the mumbling. But kidding aside, I just want to thank you guys for all the support and please do keep it coming. Let's move on to the next flops. Alone in the Dark 2005. Uwe Boll's Alone in the Dark doubled down on everything that made House of the Dead terrible. With Christian Slater and Tara Reid bizarrely cast in a horror action film, the movie ignored the psychological atmosphere of the original survival horror game. Instead, it delivered gunfights, bad CGI monsters, and a script that felt like it was written during a fever dream. The editing was so choppy, entire scenes felt missing. On a $20 million budget, it earned just $12.7 million, with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 1%. Alone in the Dark is often ranked among the worst films ever made. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time 2010. If you haven't watched it yet, I also mentioned this on my recent video. Please do check it out. Disney's Prince of Persia had everything going for it. A well-loved game, a massive $200 million budget, and Jerry Bruckheimer producing. But then came the casting of Jake Gyllenhaal as a Persian prince, sparking backlash over Hollywood whitewashing. Even beyond that, the movie lacked the nuance and charm of the game, replacing meaningful character development with generic action sequences and overused CGI. Need for Speed 2014. Need for Speed tried to cash in on the Fast and Furious craze.
Family.
But its lack of identity and overlong runtime worked against it. Despite starring Aaron Paul, fresh off Breaking Bad, the film delivered a cliche-ridden revenge story with generic races and stunts that lacked over-the-top charm of its competition. It grossed $203 million worldwide, but with a $66 million budget and heavy marketing costs, it barely broke even and bombed in the US.
But why is it so fast?
It's 900 horsepower, baby.
Assassin's Creed 2016. Hopes were sky high for Assassin's Creed, especially with Michael Fassbender in the lead and a solid visual style. But the movie made a fatal mistake. It overcomplicated the plot with too much focus on the modern-day storyline and not enough on the historical assassin versus Templar conflict that fans love. Despite earning $240 million worldwide, it failed to recoup its $125 million budget after marketing costs and was considered a disappointment. Fans felt betrayed by how little the game's spirit was captured on screen.
We both know what happens next.
Warcraft 2016. Warcraft is a rare case. A box office success internationally, especially in China, but a domestic disaster. With a $160 million budget, it grossed $439 million globally, but only $47 million came from the US. Critics slammed its convoluted lore, weak human characters, and CGI overload, calling it inaccessible to anyone not already deep into the games.
You did well today.
Rampage 2018. Rampage featured Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and some cool monster mayhem. but it was ultimately just another forgettable action film with little connection to the arcade game. It earned money, $428 million globally, but it was panned as formulaic, with critics noting it was loud, dumb, and full of sound and fury signifying nothing. Monster Hunter 2020. From the team behind Resident Evil movies came Monster Hunter, starring Mila Jovovich. And just like those films, it took major liberties with the source material. Fans were baffled by the decision to turn a beloved creature hunting adventure into a military sci-fi flick. The monsters looked good, but the human characters were underdeveloped. COVID-19 didn't help its release, but even without the pandemic, the critical response was tepid at best. It made just $44 million worldwide on a $60 million budget. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City 2021. This reboot of the Resident Evil franchise promised a faithful adaptation of the first two games, but ended up biting off more than it could chew. Cramming in multiple plotlines, locations, and characters into one film left little room for proper pacing or tension. The result was a jumbled narrative with bad CGI, questionable performances, and flat scares. Hardcore fans felt it disrespected key story beats, while newcomers were left completely lost. It earned just $42 million globally against a $25 million budget.
If y'all shut the hell up for a second and listen.
Uncharted 2022. Uncharted had the looks, but not the heart. Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg lacked the chemistry and character depth of Nathan Drake and Sully.
I've had you back for 20 years. I'm not going anywhere.
While it made $407 million globally on a $120 million budget, fans criticized it for feeling like a generic action flick with Uncharted branding slapped on the top. The story lacked the emotional highs and clever puzzles that make the games unforgettable. Borderlands 2024. The Borderlands movie flopped due to a mix of poor critical reception, box office failure, and creative missteps. Despite a huge budget of over $100 million, it only made around $33 million globally. Critics slammed the film's messy plot, lack of character development, and tonal confusion, missing key characters and a story that strayed too far from the games. Production troubles, including reshoots by a different director, further hurt the film's cohesion. In the end, it failed to capture the wild, edgy spirit of the franchise.
No explosions! I said no explosions!
Last of Us Part 2 2025. This is not a movie, but despite the strong backlash, I just thought I might include it. So, spoiler alert for those who haven't watched it yet. Despite strong critical acclaim, The Last of Us Season 2 faced significant backlash from segments of its audience, leading some to label it a flop in terms of fan reception. The season's early and unexpected death of Joel, a pivotal character, sparked controversy among viewers who felt the show deviated too sharply from the emotional core established in Season 1. Some fans expressed dissatisfaction with character development and narrative choices, arguing that the adaptation failed to capture the nuanced storytelling of the original game. That's 8 minutes. Thank you for watching. Like the video and don't forget to subscribe for more flops.